We have a voicemail number, 2192 David P. You can call any time of day. My story yesterday about protesting and civil disobedience and general strikes created a flurry, a deluge of feedback. Here is one voicemail about that issue. Take a listen.
Hi, David. My name is Nate. I just watched your video on civil disobedience and that now is the time. And you wanted to hear from us. And I think that what we are going to need to see to get the kind of traction that we need is individuals who are able to do more high-profile protests. Things like, for example, Gandhi comes to mind with hunger strikes. And I'm not suggesting that we have the same kind of problem that they had in India at that time. It's high-profile protests, which only more wealthy and more privileged individuals can do and are in a position to do.
Is that it?
That's
it.
Okay.
It cuts there. All right. I tend to agree with the idea that having some high-profile protesters would make a difference, but at the same time, even when moderately high-profile people like get themselves arrested because they are, assembled in the way you're not supposed to or trespass, you know how they can. There's a bunch of ways you can arrest protesters, and then it's kind of like a catch and release type of thing. It doesn't make that big of news. Like, I still think it makes bigger news when 500,000 people gather to protest in New York City than when one prominent person gets arrested protesting or something like that. I don't know if like prominent individuals protesting is the way forward, unless they are like top like A-list people.
Yeah, and I feel like most of those A-list people are not willing to do that sort of thing, especially if they're like an actor or an athlete, because then you're alienating half of your fan base who may support Trump, may not have the same politics as you, so it's too risky for them.
That's why I respect the athletes that come forward and say, like LeBron James, for example, who has been increasingly talking politics. By the way, I agree with most everything that he's been saying. I respect that because he says, I don't care what the impact is in terms of people being fans of mine. But at the same time, it's very easy for him not to care because he's already made enough money, right? It won't really affect his livelihood if he loses half his fan base at this point. It's just not going to.
Yeah, and maybe for him, I feel like most of his fan base is already left-leaning anyway. I mean, younger
Really?
basketball fans. That's my 2 cents on it anyway.
Oh,
But
that's a good
if you're dealing with like
question.
an
I don't know.
older actor,
Yeah.
some guy like George Clooney, who is liberal, but I'm sure he appeals to a lot of people of all sides of the political spectrum. I think it's a little bit more damaging to him and his brand.
Although, again, he's made enough money already and he's set for life, so that certainly reduces the risk. Yeah, I think that we definitely need more prominent protests. That's for sure. The exact form and circumstances, I think we can sort of have a conversation about. On the bonus show today, we will talk about PayPal ending their business relationship with Alex Jones's InfoWars. We will talk about a Japanese spacecraft throwing 2 small rovers at an asteroid. It's happening. And we will talk about Congress considering requiring more legroom on planes. All of those stories and more on today's bonus show. Become a member at www.joinpakman.com. That will give you instant access. You can also get access to the bonus show by making a $5 a month or more pledge on Patreon at patreon.com/David Pakman Show.